Otherwise, it can be abused, but with that provision, it can work.
Thank you, Honorable Nyikal. I would like to give a final opportunity to the chair before I put the question.
Honorable Chair, when it comes to the regulations, we are going to regulate and define who is a caregiver, because at the end of the day, what we saw, Chair, these people are always giving care to the vulnerable, but nobody even cares about them. If we can define who they are, and they are trained. By the way, they are trained, because you cannot deal with a child with cerebral palsy, or you deal with a child who is totally disabled, and yet you are not yet trained to do so. So these people, nobody talks about them, and that's why we are talking about them in this bill.
Honorable members, I'll now go ahead and put the question that clause 28 be amended as proposed by the chairperson. Will as many as of that opinion say aye? Will as many as of a contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it. I now put the question that clause 28 as amended be part of the bill. Will as many as of that opinion say aye? Will as many as of a contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it.
Clause 29.
I propose the question that clause 29 be part of the bill. We have an amendment. Chairperson, Honorable Nganga.
Honorable Chair, I beg clause 29 be amended as indicated on the order paper. The Honorable Chair, this amendment is meant to ensure that the need of persons with disabilities such as autism, cerebral palsy, or any other form of disability, as well as others vulnerable persons, access free, subsidized essential drugs, personal care, goods such as diapers, and various assistive devices, as it means to mitigate their varied circumstances.
Thank you, Chair. I propose the question that clause 29 be amended as proposed by the chairperson. I do not see any interest in this, so I'll go ahead and put the question that clause 29 be amended as proposed by the chair. Will as many as of that opinion say aye? Will as many as of a contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it. I now put the question that clause 29 as amended be part of the bill. Will as many as of that opinion say aye? Will as many as of a contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it.
Clause 30.
I propose the question that clause 30 be part of the bill. There be no amendment. I now put the question that clause 30 be part of the bill. Will as many as of that opinion say aye? Will as many as of a contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it.
Clause 31.
I propose the question that clause 31 be part of the bill. We have an amendment, Chairperson.
Honorable Chair, I beg to move that clause 31 be amended as indicated on the order paper. This clause, Honorable Chair, this amendment is meant to compel the board to respond to a social protection application within a set timeline of 60 days. Currently, there is no timeline set in this bill. Thank you, Honorable Chair.
Thank you, Chair. I propose the question that clause 31 be amended as proposed by the Chair. I do not see any interest. I now put the question that clause 31 be amended as proposed by the Chair. Will as many as of that opinion say aye? Will as many as of a contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it. I now put the question that clause 31 as amended be part of the bill. Will as many as of that opinion say aye? Will as many as of a contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it.
Clause 32.
I propose the question that clause 32 be part of the bill. I now put the question that clause 32 be part of the bill. Will as many as of that opinion say aye? Will as many as of a contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it.
Clause 33.
I propose the question that clause 33 be part of the bill. We have an amendment. Chairperson.
Thank you, Honorable Chair. Honorable Chair, I beg to move that clause 33 be amended as indicated on the order paper. Honorable Chair, this amendment is meant to accord social protection applicants who may wish to appeal the board's decision rejecting their application opportunity to approach the Cabinet Secretary as an optional appeal avenue or appeal directly to the High Court. This is because many vulnerable persons may not be sufficiently resourceful to make a direct appeal to the High Court due to the existing vulnerability. An application whose appeal to the Cabinet Secretary responsible for social protection will be at liberty to further appeal to the High Court if the applicant so wishes. Thank you, Honorable Chair.
Thank you, Chair. I propose the question that clause 33 be amended as proposed by the chairperson. I now put the question that clause 33 be amended as proposed by the chairperson. Will as many as have that opinion say aye? Will as many as have a contrary opinion say nay? There is have it. I now put the question that clause 33 as amended be part of the bill. Will as many as have that opinion say aye? Will as many as have a contrary opinion say nay? There is have it.
Clauses 34, 35, 36, 37, 38, 39, 40, 41, 42, 43, 44, 45, 46, 47, 48, 49, 50, 51, 52, 53, 54, 55, and 56.
I propose the question that clauses 34 to 56 be part of the bill. There be no amendments. I now put the question that clauses 34 to 56 be part of the bill. Will as many as have that opinion say aye? Will as many as have a contrary opinion say nay? There is have it.
The schedule.
I propose the question that the schedule be part of the bill. There is an amendment? There is no amendment. I now put the question that the schedule be the schedule of the bill. Will as many as have that opinion say aye? Will as many as of a contrary opinion say nay? There is have it.
Clause 2.
I propose the question that clause 2 be part of the bill. There is no amendment, so I now put the question that clause 2 be part of the bill. Will as many as have that opinion say aye? Will as many as have a contrary opinion say nay? There is have it.
Title.
I propose the question that the title be the title of the bill. There be no amendment. I now put the question that the title be the title of the bill. Will as many as have that opinion say aye? Will as many as have a contrary opinion say nay? There is have it.
Title. Clause 1.
I propose the question that clause 1 be part of the bill. There be no amendment. I now put the question that clause 1 be part of the bill. I now put the question that the title be the title of the bill. Will as many as have that opinion say aye? Aye. Will as many as have a contrary opinion say nay? There is have it. Honorable Chairperson. Understand it is the majority leader. Please proceed.
Honorable Chairperson, I beg to move that the committee do report to the House its consideration of the Social Protection Bill, National Assembly Bill number 12 of 2025, and its approval thereof with amendments.
Thank you, Majority Leader. I now put the question that the committee do report to the House its consideration of the Social Protection Bill, National Assembly Bill number 12 of 2025, and its approval thereof with amendments. Will as many as have that opinion say aye? Aye. Will as many as have a contrary opinion say nay? There is have it. Members, we are now going to move to the next bill, which is now going to be handled by the Majority Leader, the Value Added Tax Amendment Bill, National Assembly Bill number 11 of 2025. Majority Leader.
Honorable Chair, I want to beg your indulgence because having consulted the Chair of the Finance Committee, they are currently in a meeting with the Kenya Revenue Authority, still deliberating on some of the effects of the amendments that were proposed in this amendment bill. And I therefore beg your indulgence that we do adjourn committee on the consideration of that particular bill until the Finance Committee finalizes with their report.
Honorable members, the request by the majority leader is assented to.
Yeah, the chairperson to report to the House.
Thank you. Honorable Speaker, I beg to report that the Committee of the Whole House has considered the Social Protection Bill, National Assembly Bill number 12 of 2025, and approved the same with amendments. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
The mover to move agreement with the report.
Honorable Speaker, I beg to move that this House do agree with the report of the Committee of the Whole House on its consideration of the Social Protection Bill, National Assembly Bill number 12 of 2025, and I also request the Honorable Hillary to second the motion, the Vice Chair of the Committee.
Mr. Speaker, I second.
Honorable members, I propose the question. This House do agree with the report of the Committee of the Whole House on its consideration of the Social Protection Bill, National Assembly Bill number 12 of 2025. Oh, there is no interest. For the convenience of the House, the question will be put to a future date when it will be next scheduled by the House Business Committee for consideration. Next order.
Order number 9, motion, discharge of the Public Transport Motorcycle Regulation Bill, Senate Bill number 38 of 2023.
Is that Honorable TJ Kajwang moving on behalf of the committee? Ranking member.
Mr. Chair, Mr. Speaker, I have the pleasure to have been delegated by the Chair of Transport and Infrastructure to move the bill as in the order paper for the discharge of the Senate Amendment Bill, which is before us. Mr. Speaker, we want to create a precedence on how this House can relate to the other House. A bill which emanates from the other House.
The Honorable TJ Kajwang, the House has not had you move before you start debating. So would you begin by moving?
Mr. Speaker, sir, I move the motion as is in the order paper in motion number 8. I suppose it's 8, is it? Thank you.
Yeah, the Honorable T.J. Kajwang, do you have the standing order with you? And I know you are the order paper. Kindly pass the order paper to Honorable T.J. Kajwang is an old member.
Yes. And obviously Honorable Kangogo cannot pretend to know more of the standing orders than I. but I think it is because I did not have the order paper in my hands. And so, Mr. Speaker, that notwithstanding the provisions of Standing Order 127.5, Mr. Speaker, I beg to move the motion for the discharge of the Public Transport Motorcycle Regulation Bill, Senate number 38 of 2023. That notwithstanding the provisions of Order 127.5 and taking into consideration the request from the Senate for withdrawal of the Public Transport Motorcycle Regulation Bill, Senate Bill number 38 of 2023, this House resolves to discharge the Public Transport Motorcycle Regulation Bill, Senate Bill number 38 of 2023 from the second reading. I so move. Mr. Speaker, the gist of this motion is simply to create a legal infrastructure on how we conduct business in the other house and in this house. A bill emanating from that house, having been processed and considered and passed by the Senate, is referred to this house for reciprocal consideration. When it lands in this house, it ceases to be the property of the Senate. It is the property of this house. And how to deal with it and how to process it remains the province of this house under the relevant standing orders. But something happened in the process by which this bill was processed that is new in this jurisprudence, that a member having Honorable Boni Halwale, who is a majority leader in that house, proposed a bill as an individual member's bill. Then when it landed in this house, then he sought by way of letter to withdraw that bill when it was in this house. Now, Speaker, faced with that circumstance, did not, for want of creating relationship, having a mutual relationship between that house and this house, in the Speaker's communication, which was read the other day, found that he was very sympathetic to that member, but that member of the Senate could not withdraw what is before this house. And so, in the best interest and in the best advice of the Speaker, that therefore we have a motion before us so that this house should express itself one way or the other. Because we do not have the standing orders that is allowing a senator who has already processed his bill to come and withdraw something before us. That can only come by action of the majority leader. Now, Honorable Speaker, we need to structure, we need to regulate this border business. Everybody accepts. Because it is a big problem, it is a time bomb in our hands. You go to several jurisdictions, I was in Doha last week, you don't see a single border on the streets. Nothing, not even one, except for the service providers like the e-hailing and things that help the society do their things. But you go to India, there are all those borders on the streets. In fact, somebody has a whistle, the traffic officer has a whistle and puts a line to be able to stop the two-wheelers. Now that is happening here in Kenya. And it is going in almost in all jurisdictions in East Africa. You go to Uganda in the neighborhood in Kampala, there are all those borders. The next you go to 9th floor in Kenyatta Hospital. It is a hospital for bones broken by motorcycles. You drive along these roads, it is more dangerous on your left-hand side than on the right-hand side, because a motorcycle will appear somehow on the left-hand side before you know it. And so everybody understands that we need to regulate this sector. But on the other side of the flip coin, it is the source of revenue of our young people. It is also an employment facility for our young people to be employed, gainfully employed. They get revenue, they get their hard-earned living as a result of this. So that is not disputed. But it is high time that there is a law that contains the whole of this. The Traffic Act does very little to be able to control the motorcycle border. And so we are agreed. But the point is that we need legislation. And so we support the fact that there is a legislation before us, but even if there is a legislation before us, can it be processed in a proper manner? And so I have come this afternoon to support the discharge of this bill so that we in Transport Committee can take it up and look at what is good in it so that we can turn it into law and we can get the regulations. And more importantly, we must also have the input of the the executive to give us the policy behind it so that we create a law that conforms both to the policy and to the things that help the society. I'm told that Honorable Boni Khalwale, Senator Boni Khalwale, found himself with a hot potato in his hands. He was doing a good legislation, but at some point, there are a few drivers out there, or a few motorcycle associations out there, which threatened him that if he processed that legislation, then he would be voted out. Or I'm told that the senator, he aspires to be the governor of some county. So just a mere few people in his hands made him throw this legislation and write to the speaker to withdraw. What kind of governor would that be if he was given the chance? Just a few motorcycle riders making him throw a whole legislation, you know. And so we must do our role, which is the national, we must regulate this industry. And so we want to take it up. And in a short while, I can assure the leader of majority that in a short while, the cabinet will issue a cabinet paper authorizing us to be able to bring this legislation before the assembly and process it. We will not be intimidated as the member for the senator for Kakamega. We will not be intimidated. And between me and the leader of majority, we do not want to be governors of any county. And so we will do this duty without all those considerations. So, Mr. Speaker, I wish to support and move that members accept with a lot of humility to discharge this bill. If for no anything, just to let Khalwale know that there is no procedure in the standing order for withdrawing a bill once it is here. He wants to usurp powers which he does not have, to usurp powers in the assembly when he is in the Senate. Mr. Speaker, with those remarks, I support and I move, I propose, and I think the leader of majority will be kind enough to second. I thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Leader of majority, hoping you don't fear border riders.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. You know, fear and me are never in the same sentence, Honorable Speaker. But allow me, Honorable Speaker, to second this motion by the Committee for Transport and Infrastructure to discharge the Public Transport Motorcycle Regulation Bill, which, Honorable Speaker, as many members may have noted, even the name itself, I don't know, I know Dr. Khalwala is a medical doctor, but English, I think, is he should have borrowed some better English from this assembly. But as a mover has said, this being a bill, a private member's bill that came from the Senate, and Senator Khalwala, who was a proposer of this bill, has written seeking to withdraw. But as Honorable Kajwang has said, and as was noted by the Speaker in his communication, there is no process of a senator withdrawing anything from this House. Whether he is a sponsor of a bill or motion that has been processed and finalized within the Senate and it comes to this House, it is only the motions of this House and our procedures that can then discharge or withdraw such a bill. And therefore, let it be a lesson not just to Senator Khalwale but to the other senators that if you want to propose legislation, be man enough to be able to bear the consequences of the choices that you make, because we've previously been told that choices have consequences. And Honorable Speaker, I want to agree with the mover, Honorable Kajwang, that if you intend to be a governor of a county, you will be required to make hard decisions and the right decisions on behalf of the people. That is what leadership calls for. As a leader, time and again you'll be called upon to make decisions, some that may not be popular with the masses, but are the right decisions. And how I wish Senator Boni Khalwale had allowed leadership to take charge of his decisions other than political expediency. Because the decision to withdraw this bill by the Honorable Senator Boni Khalwale is more of political expediency and playing to the gallery than being a leader. And probably the people of Kakamega are the ones to judge whether that is somebody they would trust to lead other than politic. Because it is very easy to politic and shout in funerals, in political rallies, but to offer leadership is a different issue altogether, Honorable Speaker. And that's why I want to agree with the Honorable TJ Kajwang that there is need to offer leadership in regulating how our transport sector, right from our trains under Kenya Railways, to our buses and matatu sector, all the way down to the use of private vehicles, and including border borders, Honorable Speaker. Because it is chaotic to drive on Kenyan roads, Honorable Speaker. As Honorable TJ says, it is more dangerous to check what is on your right than on your left today. Because people overtake, you expect that people will be overtaking on your right because we drive on the left, we are left, it's called what? Right-hand drive cars, and we keep left on our roads. But people overtake from the left, from your right, join the roads from every other corner, overtake at all manner of places, including blind spots, Honorable Speaker. Passengers on motorcycles, and you'll be shocked, Honorable Speaker, somebody the other day narrated to us in the House Business Committee how he witnessed 3 policemen, and shockingly, traffic policemen, spying on passengers on a border. Those are the people who are supposed to be enforcing the law to make sure that every border has one pylon passenger, Honorable Speaker. But you find policemen the ones flouting the same laws, Honorable Speaker, that they are supposed to be enforcing. Therefore, that tells you the need to have proper legislation and to ensure that the same laws that are there are enforced, Honorable Speaker. Because, Honorable Speaker, if we allow the chaos that are in the public sector today to continue, and you've seen, Honorable Speaker, I saw sometime last year or early this year, the hue and cry that was there over a matatu that was said to be owned by a son of a prominent politician in this country. One matatu. And it becomes very fashionable to bash that one matatu, I think, that was plying either the Gong or Rongai route, not even knowing whether it was owned by the son to the president, because it was said it was owned to the son of the president, who is a student, by the way, who is in school. But because that was being sold as that, everybody on social media was there admonishing. Remember, last year, Honorable Speaker, I saw an incident where a lady collided, I think, with a boda somewhere in Kitengela. And Kenyans will recall the chaotic scenes of her car being vandalized by other boda riders, her being assaulted, including police officers who were in the vicinity being stoned as they tried to protect that driver, Honorable Speaker. That chaos, that scenario of chaos cannot be allowed to continue being so. But we have a duty as leaders to also protect the livelihoods of our young people who are making an income out of the boda sector. And we must protect them. And that is why, Honorable Speaker, I want to agree with Honorable TJ Kajwang that the Committee on Transport and Infrastructure in this House must take it upon themselves, one, to make sure that there is proper order in the public transport sector, not just bodas, the matatu sector. Many of us miss the Michuki days, and I hope CS Davis Chirchir is listening. It took the late CS Michuki less than 2 weeks to create order in what was otherwise a very disorderly sector. But after Michuki left us, we are slowly creeping back to the old days. I remember in my village, we had small matatus we used to call ngovis. Small Mitsubishi Colts that would carry close to 30 people. But with Michuki rules, that Colt was only licensed to carry 12 people. Now we have Nissan matatus. They were called ngovi. Or tongovi. I may not know what it means in other communities, Honorable Speaker, from your reaction and that of Honorable TJ Kajwang, it probably has another connotation where you come from. Yeah. But it's because they were very rickety cars and small, and we used to be packed there like sacks of potatoes. But when the former Minister Michuki came in and created order to ensure that we had safety belts, but today, Honorable Speaker, just get into any matatu. How many matatus have safety belts today? How many of them adhere to the speed limits that were set? Yet every day, Kenyans are crying over accidents and losing their families and relatives and friends through road accidents. Sadly, Honorable Speaker, I'm told only this week or last week, there was a headline in one of the dailies where now boda accidents have overtaken all other forms of accidents in terms of fatalities. Bodas are killing more Kenyans and maiming many more than matatus, more than buses, more than trains, more than aeroplanes. Honorable Speaker, we have a responsibility to do that which is right but may not be popular, to protect the lives and livelihoods of our young people. Because the people who are dying out of these boda accidents are not old people, Honorable Speaker. It is young people who are the riders. It is other young people who are passengers, Honorable Speaker. Not to say that older people are not dying from these accidents. Sadly, today I remember the late Honorable Hassan Kulo, the late Member of Parliament for Banisa. The people of Banisa constituency today do not have a representative and have stayed without a representative for close to a year now. Why? Out of a motor accident occasioned by a boda. Why? Because we don't adhere to the rules that are there. You are carrying, I remember the case of the late Honorable Kulo. I think it was gas cylinders or some cylinders that were, or mitungis that were tied onto the border on both sides. And it's actually the luggage or whatever cylinders that were tied to the boda that hit him and led to his death, Honorable Speaker. That may be a member of parliament, and we may think, Honorable Speaker, or probably Honorable Boni Khalwale may imagine that it cannot get to him because he's a member of parliament. He has a privilege and, of having a big car. But you never know, Honorable Speaker. We all walk on these roads. We drive on the same roads with the same boda riders. If we do not create order, we will only have ourselves to blame. We must not wait for that time of regret. We must do that which is right. Have laws that will regulate the entire public transport sector, Honorable Speaker. Look at our trains, Honorable Speaker. At times, you only thank God during rush hour on some routes, I don't want to name many of those routes, where passengers are even riding on top of the train, not in the train, not hanging on the train, on top of the train. And you imagine in some places, the train goes through tunnels and bridges, and people have to keep ducking as it goes through the bridge. Where is order, Honorable Speaker, in this sector? Do we still have a cabinet secretary in charge of this sector? Yet we have a whole state department in charge of transport. How many Kenyans know who the PS for transport is? Honorable Speaker. I am certain if I asked even members here who the principal secretary in charge of transport is, they do not know. You can hear members asking. That is why we miss the late John Mishuki. How I wish Honorable Senator Khalwale would get the balls of the late Honorable John Mishuki. But we live to do what is right, and I do pray that the Committee of Transport and Infrastructure, which the Honorable TJ Kajwang is a ranking member of, will act to make sure that we have order in the entire sector, Honorable Speaker, so that when we speak about telematics in traffic control in Nairobi and other urban centers, systems alone will not deal with the problem. It has to be systems and our own habits as we drive, as we walk, as we ride on these roads, Honorable Speaker. But if we, whatever manner of traffic control systems that we put in the city and other areas, if we do not have the discipline to use them, Honorable Speaker, they will all be investments in futility and a waste of public resources unless we change our attitudes, our behavior, and ensure that all these public sector modes of transport from border, matatus, private vehicles to the train are well and properly regulated. And I look forward to the day that this committee will bring us a law that will serve to create some order in this area, Honorable Speaker. But with that, I beg to second the discharge of this bill by the Honorable Senator for Kakamega, who I would also urge next time, before you sit and formulate legislation, think through and decide whether you want to do that which is right or that which is popular. If you want to be popular all the time throughout your political career, then don't seek a leadership position. Go and sell ice cream. That one you will make people happy all the time. Otherwise, in this business that we are in, we're in the business where at times you will make people happy. At times, they will be unhappy with you. But if you are doing the right thing, at the end of the day, they will come to realize that that which you are doing was in their best interest. And that is why they trusted you with leadership, so that you lead and they follow. And you lead so that you get the best out of them and for them. Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Thank you, Majority Leader. Honorable members, I now propose the question that notwithstanding the provisions of Standing Order 127.5 and taking into consideration the request of the Senate for withdrawal of the Public Transport Motorcycle Regulations Bill, Senate Bill number 38 of 2023, this House resolved to discharge the Public Transport Motorcycle Regulation Bill, Senate Bill number 38 of 2023 from the second reading. The Honorable Dr. Wilberforce Oundo, the MP for Funyula.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Let me also stand here to support the motion that has been moved by our good colleague in respect to discharge of public transport motorcycle regulation bill, Senate Bill number 3 of 2023. And Honorable Speaker, let me go on record that Busia town and Busia County was actually the starting point of border border. And it started with a bicycle, what you would carry people along with a bicycle. And the Honorable Speaker, by then, a bicycle was more valued more than a car. If you never owned a bicycle, even if you owned a Mercedes-Benz, nobody took you serious. They thought you had not encompassed the culture and aspiration of the people. Honorable Speaker, the motorcycle has revolutionized transport in this country. The border sector has revolutionized transport in this country, has made transport more accessible, and has allowed people to reach various destinations he thought that they would not have reached because of poor roads. Honorable Speaker, and because of the traffic jam in this country, especially Nairobi, motorcycle comes in handy in terms of speed and ability to reach a destination that others would have taken you much longer to get there because of traffic jam. Honorable Speaker, border borders is one of the biggest employer of both the youth, some old people, and people who probably had no other avenue of making a living. That's a fact. Honorable Speaker, border riders are our sons and daughters, are members of this society, that whichever way we look at it, we must find a mechanism to protect their business, to protect their jobs, yet ensure there is safety. Honorable Speaker, I have had the privilege to teach at a university in Rwanda, Kigali, for almost 1 year. And Honorable Speaker, forget any other thing. What they talk about cleanliness, what about Kigali and Rwanda as a whole, is the discipline of the they were called moto, border riders. Indeed, Honorable Speaker, I want to reiterate again, it's a sector, if well regulated, if the players are well disciplined, then Honorable Speaker, is a sector that can transform the economy of this country tremendously. I've also had the privilege of traveling outside the country, in Western Europe or in the US, and indeed I have never seen a motorcycle being a means of public transport, because their transport system is well elaborate, is well developed, and is well regulated. Honorable Speaker, the need to regulate the industry cannot be gainsaid. That is a fact. And I had thought that by the time our good friend, the bullfighter, is a bullfighter, and a bullfighter does not fear anything. By the time the bullfighter thought and drafted this law, he must have applied his mind, both politically and coming from a medical field, being an academia, he must have looked at what are the consequences. Sometimes, Honorable Speaker, it is a terrible waste of public resources to go all this way, to go through all that process, and then when it's at the tail end, nevertheless that is allowed and the standing order under the law, you come and withdraw the bill. I do not have the privilege of having read his letter seeking to withdraw, and what were the reasons given for withdrawal. Regardless the reason given for withdrawal, it is a terrible waste of public resources. And when I meet him, Honorable Speaker, I will tell him as much, that we felt there's a terrible waste of resources, being a person who stood in this house and said, for corruption to end, Kimunya must go. Failure to take this bill to the logical end is a form of corruption in a way, because it's misuse of public resources. Honorable Speaker, it is important as a community, as a country, we must open dialogue with the border riders. Honorable Speaker, in the interim, as we look at opening dialogue, as we look at ways of ensuring we put it in order, as the majority leader has said, we have a State Department of Transport. We have Traffic Department and the police, National Police Service. Any failure, any problems, any chaos in the border sector, the two State Departments, the two state organs are squarely to blame. NTSA is there, State Department is there, Traffic Police Department is there. The law is there. The rules are there. Why they don't enforce the rules? Is it because the border riders are too powerful, are too politically important that nobody wishes, nobody dares to touch them? Honorable Speaker, when you go to most hospitals, the injury section, 90% or 99% invariably are accidents as a result of border. Something is seriously wrong somewhere, which as a society we must address. We had hoped this law would address. Honorable Speaker, it got to a point where my own constituency, Funyula, that many times, most of the robberies at night were transported, the criminals were transported by border riders. It got to a point where we had to have a discussion with them and told them after a certain period at a certain time in the night, do not transport anybody, whether somebody you do not know. You can only attend to emergency, and those must be genuine emergency from a neighbor that you very well know. As a result, Honorable Speaker, by the very way they operate, they are also extremely exposed to danger. They are exposed to criminals, they are exposed to theft, they are even exposed to death. Many, Honorable Speaker, have actually had their motorcycles snatched from them when they are escorting clients. Many of them have been killed for resisting attempt to steal their motorcycles. Some of them have been mistaken to be robbers. As they kill and lynch a robber, they also kill them. So it's in their best interest, Honorable Speaker, that the industry must be regulated. You might want to run it on lawlessness because it gives you the standing, some kind of preeminence. But eventually, that lawlessness will catch up with you. Will catch up with you. It will not be one way. So we want to beseech them that through their national association, and many times, Honorable Speaker, during campaigns, they are given very prominent roles to play. I remember even the last presidential campaign, the Kenya Kwanza Brigade paraded them all over. The hustlers, the downtrodden, tutakaa tunakaa na nyinyi kwa meza tukipanga mpango ya serikali. Now they have become a thorn in the flesh. We need, for their own safety, they need to be regulated. And again, Honorable Speaker, as they cause accidents and injure passengers, they equally get injured. Many of them end up maimed forever. So, Honorable Speaker, the Boni Halwale bill might be lost because he requested so, but we want to urge the State Department for Transport, the saga called NTSA, the National Police Service, to really find ways and means of reining and regulating this sector so that its economic influence can be felt, but security, safety must be paramount. With those few remarks, Honorable Speaker, I support.
The Honorable Kangogo Bowen. He will be followed by the Honorable Peter Irungu Kiungi.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, for giving me this opportunity to support the motion to discharge the public transport, that is the motorcycle bill, the Senate Bill number 38 of 2023 from the second reading of this House. And Honorable Speaker, many of my colleagues, including the mover, the Honorable Tiji Kachwang, and the little majority who seconded, together with the Dr. Oundo, Mr. Speaker, they have said it all. They have said all about this bill. Mr. Speaker, I just want to say some few things. Number one, Honorable Speaker, where we come from the pastoralist areas where we come from, where there are no roads at all, where we have only one matatu, leaving in the morning, as early as 3 a.m. in the morning, to get to town, and that same matatu will come back maybe around afternoon, going back to the village. Mr. Speaker, the motorcycles, they have played a very important role to move those women going to markets around the place, Mr. Speaker. It has really helped. It has really helped our students, even when they are going to school, Mr. Speaker, moving them from the villages to the nearby towns where they can catch up a matatu. And I can say, Honorable Speaker, with the coming of the motorcycles or this, the borders, Honorable Speaker, it has really changed completely the mode of transport, especially in the rural Kenya. Having said that, Mr. Speaker, the sector has also employed many young Kenyans. It's also a source of income to many Kenyans. But, Mr. Speaker, there are few, especially in the urban areas, Mr. Speaker. We have seen where the border operators, they are very unruly. Mr. Speaker, I want to say, one time I was coming from Karen, reaching around the junction of, around Kenya Science Way junction to Kawangware, Mr. Speaker, and there was one lady, I don't know, they had an accident with a border rider there. And Mr. Speaker, all of a sudden, about 20 of them, they came surrounding the lady. And you know, as the lady was still arguing, others were entering into a car, removing laptops, taking away valuables there. And he took my intervention, me together with my security team, Honorable Speaker, to help the lady. And you will find that in a normal traffic situation, when you are involved in an accident, it's normally the two drivers who can come out, and then a policeman can come in and intervene and see who is on the wrong. But in the border sector, Mr. Speaker, a small incident is like an opportunity of stealing, you know, and also maiming the person, Mr. Speaker. So, Mr. Speaker, I want to support the position of the committee led by the honorable member, the Honorable Tiji Kachwang, that they are going to take up this bill, that we are not going to lose this bill, Honorable Speaker, that the committee is going to take it up and police it well, so that, Mr. Speaker, we regulate our border sector and have it as productive as we have seen in other countries like what we are seeing in Rwanda. And we have a people who are able to follow the traffic laws, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, sometimes in our roads here, you are driving and you will see just a border coming head-on towards from the opposite direction, completely on the wrong, and in fact, they want you to get out of your way, to pave way for them. So, Mr. Speaker, we cannot allow this to continue. We cannot allow this lawlessness to continue. This is a country which is governed by laws, Mr. Speaker, and I want to really say, Mr. Speaker, if the committee is going to take up this matter, and we have also the law enforcers, our traffic officers, enforce the rules very strictly. And Mr. Speaker, Sometimes it's not that we lack laws in this country. We have so many traffic laws. It's only that we have people, we become a lawlessness country where people don't care to follow the law. And sometimes, some of these borders, including even the matatu operators, Mr. Speaker, those who are found to have violated the law, it is many of us, some of us, the politicians, the leaders, we are the first ones always to be in the police stations. Why are you arresting our people? Why are you arresting my people? And then they create some boldness. They become emboldened, Mr. Speaker, that they cannot listen to anybody, even the policemen on the road, because they know they have some godfathers somewhere. When they are arrested, they are going to be released. Mr. Speaker, I conclude on this, Mr. Speaker, I want to say, like the Honorable Kachwang said, if you go not only to Kenyatta National Hospital at 9th floor, if you go to MTRH in Eldoret, there is a whole almost two wards, which are purely for border victims. If you go to every hospital in Nakuru, in central Kenya, you will find that many of the accident victims are victims or are accident victims from border accidents. So, Mr. Speaker, I want to conclude to say, the committee, you have the support of the House. We are going to support you. Polish this bill, bring it back, and we are going to pass it to regulate the border sector and become an income generating sector like any other sector in the country. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
The Honorable Peter Irungu Kihungi is recognized.
Okay, thank you. Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. I start to support the withdrawal of the motion of the bill. And Mr. Speaker, I want to question also still how the bill went all through the process and it came to Parliament from Senate without the mover or the Senate itself be able to realize the anomalies that they could have rectified. But Mr. Speaker, I want to support the most members what they have come. We need to regulate the operations of border. I think we are now allowed 24 years because mostly it came after during Kibaki regime. And I want to say, I was once operated as a conductor between around 2000, between Kayole and Nairobi, before Mechuki rules. It was extremely chaotic. And when he came with the Mechuki rules, we never knew that it would work. The only instinct that is needed is somebody who have the boldness and somebody who is not careful too much, maybe on his popularity, because we must regulate the border sector as it is. The numbers now that we are in of people who are employed by the sector, they are extremely rising. And I wish, as the committee is saying, these are an institution, these are whereby we need now to develop maybe a directorate that is concerned and every day is working on border sector. Because now, as it is left, I realized the other day, there was a burial in my village called Watoha. And it was a burial for a border guy who had an accident. I think there were 3. 2 died, and one of them maybe is in hospital. But during the burial of one of the border rider, there came a group of borders who behaved as if they were chaotic. They interfered with burial whereby when the pastor was preaching, they came and took the coffin, they went directly to the burial site and buried the person. Without even prayers, they disregarded the family. It was so embarrassing, so chaotic. And therefore, that's why I'm saying, if we allow this sector to continue learning, now it's becoming now their chaotic issue. They are calling themselves biker. You don't understand how they are organized. And these people are criminals. Therefore, Mr. Speaker, I think the essence and the issue of regulating this sector is not to frustrate the operations of genuine border borders. Because the border borders in my village, they were left wondering what's happening. They felt the embarrassment up to a point whereby we had to do prayers in that church with the border borders in the village to repent on behalf of border borders. But those people, I think they have organizations, they are organizing themselves even from outside, and they are becoming extremely chaotic and disorganized. Therefore, Mr. Speaker, I think Halwale had an idea, but I think he panicked. But my prayer is that the Committee for Transport should think around it and come in a way to regulate and bring order to this sector. As everybody is saying, if you go to Rwanda, you feel, you admire the operations of Boda Boda. One Boda Boda carrying one passenger with a helmet, very organized. At a traffic jam, when they observe lights, is extremely organized. And I think that one needs just an organized registration, and also, if possible, we have a directorate that will trickle up to the ground so that these people can be able to be organized in circles, and we can be able now to remove those criminals have intruded in this sector. Therefore, Mr. Speaker, I start to support the withdrawal, but I think Senate also should up their debate also, because I don't understand how that the bill came to Parliament. Then when we have it in Parliament, they are calling for withdrawal. I don't understand at which instance, maybe at what, how the process went around. But Mr. Speaker, as Parliament, we can agree, but call upon the Committee on Transport, just look on how you can bring order in this sector. And I know we can be able to bring order, and it will work for genuine border operators. And it will also assist us to be able to remove those operators or those criminals who have gotten a chance to intrude in this sector. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
The Honorable Joshua Mwalio.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I want to support also the withdrawal of this bill. Although initially I was not for the idea of the withdrawal, but I was convinced by the House business that the withdrawal is the right thing, and then we bring ours from this House. And I was convinced by Honorable Kajwang, and I am convinced. Having said that, I want to say that this sector is very important because it came in the hard time, the best time. It is like the way we used to have no mobiles, and then the mobiles came as a savior for everybody, because you used to walk to someone's home, even 5 kilometers, and you find the person is not there just because we did not have the mobiles. But now the Boda Boda have come to save the sector of transport, such that it has become very easy. Even wherever there are no roads, they are there helping the people in the rural areas. If you want to move faster, even in the city here, when you are late and there is a jam, you take a Boda Boda and you reach where you are going as quickly as possible. So the Boda Boda sector is a very important sector. Having said that, we need to regulate, because the things that are coming from the Boda Boda, the issues that are being done, the bad things that are being done by the Boda Boda, they defeat the good ones. Because they are the same Boda Bodas who are being used by the hitmen. If they want to steal from you, they snatch your mobile and ride very fast, leaving you wondering, how do you run after a motorbike that is speeding? There are other things that are being done which is very good. There are some of them are so organized, such that they have their circles where they give money daily, even 100 shillings. And at the end of the day, they are able to give one person some money so that that person can buy his or our own motorcycle to be able to do the business. So there are good things that happens, but there are also very bad ones. The bad ones are the accidents. In my constituency, I cannot count how many people have been maimed. Some have become even disabled. Some have been, their legs have been cut because there are multiple fractures, because they have been knocked by boda. In fact, there is one young man already now this week is in a mortuary who was knocked by a boda last week. And so many things that we cannot even, they are countless. But when we will regulate it, we need also to enforce the law enforcement agencies to make sure that the bodas keep to their lane. We have done so many training even with the CDF. We have trained them not to ride without helmets. We have even trained them not to ride without insurances. We have trained them not even to carry 2 people, but to carry only 1. But even after the training, they still go back to their old habits of carrying as many people as possible. You find one is carrying 4 people, and he himself is as if he is standing because he is there just next near the end of the motorbike. So it is very important to bring a regulated sector in this house so that we go through it, make it happen, because it was made to be a very good sector. And of course it is, but because of the very bad things, then everybody is saying the boda. They also, they bull people, even us, when we are campaigning. One time, I was bulled by them, and they even prevented me from entering a town until I paid 20,000. You see, so much bullying that they bully even the member of parliament. When you are going there to look for votes, they tell you cannot enter this town. It is controlled by us. It's a cartel. You pay money for you to enter and look for votes. If it's a rally you were going, you become late because you are arguing with the people that don't want even to hear you. So it is very important for us to regulate it and let us talk to them and tell them this is a country whereby we need to be ruled by the rules that are already set, and not everything that you do that is accepted. One of the honorable members I just cited, you drive like this and there is one coming on your side. You don't even imagine there can be anybody riding towards you when you are on your line. So you might even collide and kill them and even kill the passengers. So it is very important that we do what is right in this house, and our way is to make laws that help our country. I've seen also some of the organized ones. They obey their chairmans, they obey their secretariats, and you sit down with them, you plan your rally with them, so that they bring you in a town so that everybody is alert. Somebody is coming to speak, even to the people that you wanted to speak to. So they are good for organizing people and also for attracting attention, so that they call for you the crowd. They are good for that. But if you don't pay them after they have done for you that, next time they might not even allow you to speak to the people that you wanted to speak. For Speaker, I want to support for this bill to be, this motion to be brought again after the committee has made good of it, and so that we can make the laws that can govern the sector, so that our country can be disciplined. I've been to China. There are small thousands and thousands of boda riders, but they are so disciplined that they move as the cars move. When it is time to stop, you stop. When it's time to move, you move. And it is very organized. And that is where the motorcycles are manufactured. But here, whereby we have been able to import them, we are the ones who are not able to use our roads in the right way. So with those few remarks, Speaker, I support the withdrawal.
Does the Honorable Eric, the son of Mumbi, want to contribute to this? I'm told Mumbi is the mother of all the Agikuyu. You're not contributing to this. Okay, the Honorable, the Chair, the Departmental Committee on Finance and National Planning, Honorable Kimani.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. And the motion today is on the discharge of the Public Transport Motorcycle Regulation Bill, Senate Bill number 38 of 2023, which is now the official withdrawal from the House. This bill sponsored by the Senator for Kakamega, Dr. Boniface Halwale. I've gone through the bill, Honorable Speaker, and although there were some things or some clauses in the bill that were offensive and probably necessitated the Senator's decision to withdraw the entire bill, it's unfortunate because the bill carried very many things, or a few things, quite a number of things that were very, very useful, that would have been very useful to this particular section, Honorable Speaker. But before I debate the merits of the debate, Honorable Speaker, there was a presidential decree that was made in 2023 that was supposed to require training fees for bodas to 2,500, Honorable Speaker. I have checked that actually there has been programs that are being undertaken by AA, by NTSA, and by NYS that actually reduce the cost of this particular training to around 750 shillings, Honorable Speaker. However, these particular programs remain a mirage because there is not enough publicity on this, even to our constituents, Honorable Speaker. For you to acquire just a license to ride a boda, you need to have a provisional driving license that you apply at 650 shillings. You need to have a test application fee that you pay 1,050 shillings, and you need to pay a license and endorsement of 600 shillings. The training, I checked a few of the training colleges in the country, will charge you between 5,000 and 10,000 shillings, Honorable Speaker. So for a skill set that is very important to the people at the bottom of the pyramid, and to the real hustlers of this country, Honorable Speaker, I think training fees for boda riders remain too high for them to afford. And as a committee of transport now retreats to relook at how to bring this back, Honorable Speaker, will be to look at affirmative action to make sure we reduce the cost of training. Because the matters that are raised by the members in this House about, for example, the accidents that are caused by Honorable Speaker, some of them is because some student clears Form 4 or Class 8, and of course now the easiest business to start becomes that of a boda rider, Honorable Speaker. But if then the training fees would be reasonable enough, then that particular rider, Honorable Speaker, would be motivated to go and do boda training, Honorable Speaker, before they actually get to ride that Honorable Speaker. Boda sector is a very important sector in our economy. I dare say we cannot live without the boda sector in this country. You know, it is our last mile connectivity in our transport. When you want to go to the deepest of our villages, or to the deepest of our urban areas where some of the roads are really small, Honorable Speaker, we rely on these boda riders, Honorable Speaker. When those people fall sick, it is these boda riders that take them to hospitals. The first reactions, even in terms of security matters, if there is a theft in a particular village, if there is any insecurity matters, Honorable Speaker, the first respondents, most of the time, not even police officers, they are boda riders, because most of them operate even 24 hours, Honorable Speaker. And therefore, this is an area that is so critical to our economy that we need to protect. We need to provide affirmative action, Honorable Speaker, so that these riders can have training, can have better access to safety gears, such as a helmet, reflectors, Honorable Speaker. If you check around, especially in Nairobi, Honorable Speaker, you must have noticed most of the bikes, including during the day, have their lights on with a casako at the front yellow. Those are electric motorcycles. And Honorable Speaker, the spur of use of electric motorcycles in this country that have saved the fuel consumption or the cost of running these bodas by more than 50%. is a result of policy directions that have been made on this House. The Finance Act of 2023, Honorable Speaker, provided for zero rating of electric motorcycles and their parts thereof, Honorable Speaker. This fundamentally reduced the cost of electric motorcycles that have seen multinationals such as Uber, such as Mogo, such as Watu invest, Honorable Speaker, through venture capitalists into these particular entities, Honorable Speaker. And therefore you've seen the profitability of boda riders, especially the ones that do delivery services around Nairobi, Honorable Speaker, use electric motorcycles. And you're hoping that this private sector will take this further to our villages, Honorable Speaker, so that the boda business can be more profitable to these young people that, Honorable Speaker, are very hardworking. As much as we want to blame our boda riders for the acts, Honorable Speaker, motorists also have contributed to this. You know, when you'll find a lot of time, especially around roundabouts, Honorable Speaker, we really squeeze out some of these boda riders, Honorable Speaker. And you find some of them is carrying a radio, Honorable Speaker. They really get scared because there's a matatu or there's a car that really is squeezing them almost out of the road. And out of that panic, Honorable Speaker, sometimes the passenger shakes or even the rider, Honorable Speaker, panic. So in as much as if you are really control the accidents that are caused by these boda riders, even as motorists, we need to respect other motorists on the road. Our boda riders are equal motorists in our roads, Honorable Speaker, and they deserve the respect we give the vehicles on our roads, Honorable Speaker. There are some, another policy direction, Honorable Speaker, with this House. I did sponsor the Business Laws Amendment Bill that was passed in this, Honorable Speaker. And one of the critical amendments we had was to stop the exploitation of the buy now pay later program that was being done by financial institutions, Honorable Speaker. You'll find boda riders would go pay a deposit for a motorcycle of say 20,000 shillings, but by the time they are calculating the amount of money they paid for the loan of that motorcycle, it is twice or three times the cost of that motorcycle, Honorable Speaker. In addition, Honorable Speaker, if they defaulted just one payment or towards the tail end, if they deserve with just a few calls, Honorable Speaker, the motorcycle will get repossessed. So by bringing those buy now, pay later schemes into the purview of Central Bank of Kenya, then we expect that they're going to adhere to the ad hoc principle, Honorable Speaker, of not charging interest more than the principal amount of the particular item, Honorable Speaker. So these are some of the interventions that this House has made. However, we urge, especially our private sector, to innovate and make boda riding as comfortable, as safe, as you've seen in the examples that we've talked about, for example, in China and Rwanda and other countries, Honorable Speaker. And a good example, there's a company called Oye. So Oye has partnered with National Oil Petrol Station, it is Total Petrol Station, Honorable Speaker, where now when the boda riders get to fuel their motorcycles at National Oil, at Total Petrol Station, Honorable Speaker, they actually get to contribute towards having a medical insurance for them and their passenger, Honorable Speaker. And these are some of the products that we say, can we have our insurance industries innovate and have such solutions as these in terms of affordability, accessibility, and have the boda rider and the passenger to be covered on medical insurance. That's the same way we have for motorists, for other motorists, Honorable Speaker. So we allowed the interventions that this House has made, and we look forward to the Departmental Committee on Transport coming up with even more innovations to cushion our boda riders from, to make sure that the riding is safe, the costs of their training is reduced, the cost of their security gears such as helmet and all the other training gears that they need, Honorable Speaker, that actually it's adhered to, Honorable Speaker. And also thank them. They are a good example of organization. You know, you go to stages across the country, you find they're organized. They have the chairman of that stage who approves all those people that ride that particular stage. They know each other. Some of them have welfare programs. They organize themselves at the ward level, at the sub-county level, at the county level, and the national level. And if, for example, if, Honorable Speaker, we can find other ways of supporting them, especially with products, Honorable Speaker, and informative action on these particular people, I believe that they can really transform our nation, not just economically, but ensure there is a safe way of movement of goods and people from point A to B, Honorable Speaker, and they actually get to earn a decent income to support their families, because boda people in this country are very hardworking people. And as Honorable Speaker, Let us stop castigating all the boda riders. Ati tunasema watu wote wa boda ni wabaya, ni wezi. It's just like in every sector. They are treated by professionals who do not adhere to professional good conduct. Whether it is in police service, whether it is in legal service, whether it is in the accounting profession, in every profession across the world, you cannot lack a few people who do not adhere to professional conduct of that particular institution, Speaker. So not all boda riders are good, and majority of our boda riders are hardworking Kenyans who work hard to feed their families, and for that we must applaud them and help them and cushion them against the cost of their training and the cost of their safety gears. With that, I support this discharge, Honorable Speaker.
Honorable Stephen M. Mugaka, MP4 West Mugirango.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. And I also want to support the withdrawal of this Senate bill, just like all other Senate bills should be withdrawn. Because the border sector, Mr. Speaker, is the lifeline of this country. And I speak to this as a graduate of business, and during my undergraduate course, one of my theses and dissertations I wrote was about the transport industry as it was then. Mr. Speaker, sir, the transport sector in East Africa was dominated by multinationals, the overseas trading company. And at that time, transport sector was a no-go zone for anybody. And that was the model, even in the banking sector, until the Grameen model came that destroyed the mythology that banking or transport is a space for only big players. Mr. Speaker, since the OTC time, when the matatu industry made a debut into the transport sector, it was demonized. And little did people know that the matatu sector was going to revolutionize the informal transport sector and make transport available to all from destinations which were not otherwise authorized stages under the old monopoly of the overseas trading company. And it has evolved, and today the border sector has even liberalized the transport sector and even made it passenger friendly, so that you can be picked from house to destination and from your destination to the house. And therefore, any attempt to suffocate the growth of the border sector would be going in the wrong direction. But that is not to say that the border sector does not require regulation. In fact, when I went to China, Mr. Speaker, sir, and I thank it to this 13th Parliament, and I wouldn't mention that Fatuma, who is not here, was with me during that trip. I did see that the border sector has gone down to even having border hires, just like we have car hires, where you do not need to own a border to use one to move from destination to destination. And that is why, Mr. Speaker, any regulatory legislation that is not border and passenger centric, that would be a regulation in the wrong direction. How I wish that this country, under the CBC education program, trained all our learners on how to use borders, how to license our learners as they get out of school, they are able to ride and they are licensed to ride borders, so that we can have transport
When you go to Kigali, you see there is a lot of sanity in this industry, the boda industry. So if there is streamlined, rules are put in place, I know it's an organized institution. They have leadership right from the village, sub-county to county levels. If they can be put together, they be taught on so many things, on road safety, that one will be very good for them, because most people, livelihoods of our people in the villages, and even in big towns, even in Nairobi here, I normally see when there's big jam, most people use the boda riders to be moved from point A to point B. Even before this Mombasa getting to the airport, it used to be a nightmare before the new roads came up. People used to jump onto bodas to rush them to the airport. So let us not look at boda as a menace or as a problem. The boda sector must have rules that can govern. They do the way the Rwanda is doing. They carry only 2 people, and the 2 people should have helmets. Both of them should have helmets and good reflectors, so that at least they are seen when other motorists, when it's dark, when other motorists are using it. And also, Kera should do, or the counties should do good pathway for boda riders, because it's becoming a problem on highways. You see them all over. People look at them as a nuisance. But I think if it is streamlined properly, Mr. Speaker, this is one of our major employment organizations. So, Mr. Speaker, I think Khalwale feared the repercussion, because in every village there is a boda rider, even in every home. So I think by pulling it out, I think it is a good idea, but the Minister of Transport, the Minister, should regulate, give rules out, set rules out on how the boda sector should be governed, so that we minimize on accidents on the roads, we minimize a lot of robbery, we minimize, because people are looking at boda riders as thugs. Some people are looking at them as, like, most normally say that they're the ones who rape young girls, they impregnate school-going children. But let us take boda to be one of the best employer, the best institution that is employing so many of our people. So let us support this industry and put in the necessary rules and the necessary issues that can make it run. I remember, may God rest his soul in eternal peace, the man by the name Michuki Rules, when he came out. I think the minister of this transport ministry should come up in that manner. Let them not just look like they want to be massaged, they want to look like they are angels. You want them to bring rules that can govern the roads, rules that can make people understand that boda riders and our boda industry is just an equal employer like any other employment. So I think I want to thank Khalwale for his thinking, knowing very well the repercussion. And since he's saying that he's going for gubernatorial seat, this could have worked against him so badly. Because I remember there was a time when we were doing Tibima and Telala, and we were demonstrating the whole country when we were resisting. I remember when he came to Vihiga to assist me to demonstrate, and they had marked him. Honorable Kajwang knows that very well. He jumped, Khalwale jumped onto a boda, and he escaped the OCS from arresting him. So these boda services, they are good. As much as we may think that they should be stopped or they should be banned, but the boda riders are doing a good job, and they saved Khalwale that day from being arrested. So let us not demonize this industry. Let us hold this industry with the respect that it deserves. It's a good industry that is employing our children, except a few issues that need to be corrected, and this we leave it to the Minister for Transport to put in measures, to put in rules, to bring a bill here which can curb unlawlessness, and also the security apparatus to look at. There are some few elements, thugs masquerading as boda riders, and they use that to rob people, to do unnecessary things, spoiling that industry. But I love the industry. The bodas are coming up. I'm very happy in my county. They're coming up. They have even bought land. They want to put up structures. They want to assist the government in the housing department, whereby the government has to meet the requirements of the housing sector. They want to put up apartments. They're coming up. And from boda, they are coming matatu owners and bus owners. So let us not demonize it wholesomely. It's an industry that needs to be nurtured. It's an industry that needs to be protected so that our children, our people can be put something on the table in their homes. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I wish to end there. Thank you.
MP for Genz, the Honorable Charo Kazungu.
Asante Bwana Spika kwa kunipatia nafasi hii kuweza kuchangia kwa huu mjadala ambao unaendelea saa hizi. Kwanza kabisa pia nataka nimshukuru na nipongeze Bwana Kawale kwanza kwa kuweza kuja na mswada kama huu, hata japokuwa amesema kwa tuweze kuondoa, lakini ni mswada muhimu sana tukizingatia kwamba sekta ya bodaboda nchini Kenya imechangia pakubwa sana kuimarisha uchumi wetu. Mara nyingine wanajiuliza kama haingekuwa ni hii sekta ya bodaboda, hawa vijana wetu wengi ambao wanatoka mashule saizi wangekuwa wanafanya kazi gani? Kwa sababu tunavyojua hali ya uchumi katika nchi yetu si nzuri vile. Ni vijana wengi sana ambao wamepata makao katika hii sekta ya bodaboda na wameweza kujipatia riziki ya kila siku kuweza kujiendeleza katika maisha yao. Kwa hivyo hii sekta imesaidia pakubwa sana katika kuchangia kuimarisha uchumi wa nchi yetu. Mara nyingine najiuliza kule ninakotoka sehemu ya Genz ni sehemu ambayo ni ya mashambani sana, ni rural area, na kule barabara hakuna. Nafikiri katika eneo bunge lote la Genz kilomita za barabara ambazo zimewekwa lami hazifiki hata kilomita 30. Na sisi kama wakazi tunategemea sana usafiri wa kutumia bodaboda kuweza kufanya biashara zetu na pia kuweza kutoka katika pointi ya kwanza hadi pointi ya pili. Ingekuwa hakuna bodaboda, watu wangekuwa wanatumia usafiri wa kutumia miguu ama wa kutumia baiskeli. Na mara nyingi inakuwa vigumu sana kuweza kusafirisha bidhaa ama kusafirisha watu, especially wagonjwa. Lakini sasa ukiangalia hata usiku wa manane, ukipatikana na shida katika nyumba yako, ni rahisi kuitisha mtu wa bodaboda, anakuja, anakubeba, anakupeleka hospitali. Hospitali zetu zenyewe kule Genz pia ziko mbali sana. Nafikiri kila hospitali ni zaidi ya kilomita 10. Kwa hivyo wakati mwingi pia kufikia hospitali inakuwa shida. Lakini kwa sababu ya uwepo wa hawa huduma bodaboda, tumeweza kuona kuwa huduma kama hizi pia sisi kama wakazi wa Genz tunaweza kuzipata kwa urahisi. Kwa hivyo manufaa ya hii sekta ni mengi sana. Tukianza kuyataja moja baada ya nyingine, hata pengine tutakesha hapa kuzungumza mambo haya. Lakini kila kizuri pia hakikosi ubaya wake. Na tumeona kwamba katika hii sekta kuna watu wachache, wacha niseme wachache, ambao wanaharibu jina zuri la wahudumu wa bodaboda. Kuna wengi ambao wamejipanga vizuri na ukiangalia wameingia kwa hii sekta kwa muda mrefu na wamejiendeleza, wameweza kuendesha maisha yao vizuri, wametengeneza sako, walikuwa wameandikwa kama waendeshaji wa bodaboda, lakini saizi kwa sababu ya uadilifu wao katika kazi zao, saizi wamekuwa pia hao ni wenye bodaboda, wanaendesha bodaboda zao. Hao ni wale ambao wamejipanga. Lakini kuna wachache ambao wanaharibu hii sekta. Na wameingiza uhuni na wanafanya mambo ambayo hayastahili. Ukiangalia saizi wahalifu wengi sana ambao wanahusika katika kupora mali za watu, kupora maduka na hata majangili ambayo wanahusika na visa vya uwaji, utapata wakati mwingi pia wanatumia hiyo vifaa vya bodaboda kuweza kufanya ule uhalifu ambao wanafanya. Lakini hao ni wachache. Mimi nasema wengi katika wale ambao wanafanya bodaboda wanafanya kazi nzuri sana na wanastahili kuungwa mkono. Lakini pia imekuwa ni muhimu sana tuweze kama nchi kuweza kuregulate ama kutunga sheria ambazo hawa watu wa bodaboda wataweza kuzifuata. Mara nyingi sana tunaona barabarani, kwa sababu sisi pia ni watumizi wa barabara, tunaona hawafuati zile sheria za barabara vile ambavyo inastahili. Unajipata wewe unaendesha gari yako katika ule mkono wako wa barabara, lakini mtu wa bodaboda yeye pia anakuja na mkono huo bila kujali kabisa kwamba anaweza kusababisha ajali. Tumeona mara nyingi sana katika barabara zetu ajali nyingi ambazo zimefanywa na watu wa bodaboda, watu ambao hawastahili kwamba wapoteze maisha yao, wameweza kuyapoteza kwa sababu ya kutokuwa na makini kwa hawa waendeshaji bodaboda. Hili ni jambo ambalo limekuwa sugu katika nchi yetu, kwa sababu ukitembea katika hospitali nyingi kama pale Kilifi, kuna ward katika hospitali ya Kilifi inaitwa bajaji ward. Ukienda katika hospitali ya Malindi kuna ward pia inaitwa bajaji ward. Na ukiangalia wale watu wako katika hiyo ward ni watu ambao wamepata ajali kupitia kwa hizi bodaboda. Kwa hivyo mbali na kuwa wamekuwa wakifanya kazi nzuri, lakini kwa sababu ya wachache ambao hawana makini wamesababisha hasara kubwa sana. Kwa sababu utapata watu wamekaa pale kwa hospitali, itabidi wafanyiwe operations, itabidi wawekwe vyuma, na utapata wakati mwingi pia hata pesa za kufanyiwa hizi vitu hakuna. Itabidi sisi kama wanasiasa pia tunahusishwa tena kufanya michango ili hawa watu waweze kusaidika. Kwa hivyo mimi naunga mkono hoja ya kwamba hata kama hii bill imekuwa withdrawn au imeondolewa katika bunge hili, lakini pia nasisitiza ikiwezekana kamati husika iweze kuregesha mswada tena hapa ili tuweze kuja na sheria ambazo zitaweza kuzingatiwa ili kuhakikisha kwamba manufaa ya hii sekta ya bodaboda yanaweza kufikika ama kusikika kila kona ya nchi hii. Kwa sababu impact ya hii watu kila mtu anaiona, kwa sababu wamerahisisha sana sekta ya usafiri ndani ya nchi yetu. Lakini kwa sababu ya wale wachache ambao hawazingatii sheria, jina la bodaboda, jina la watu wa bodaboda limeharibiwa sana. Sasa hizi kila kitendo cha uhalifu kikifanyika kule mashinani, suspect wa kwanza inasemekana ni watu wa bodaboda. Kumekuwa na visa vingi sana vya mimba za mapema kule mashinani. Lakini ukiangalia kwa sababu ya jina lao baya ama vile wanadhaniwa, suspect wa kwanza pia inasemekana ni watu wa bodaboda. Kwa hivyo pia imefika wakati mwafaka saizi zile asasi za serikali ambazo zinahusika, NTSA, polisi, waweze pia kuja na programs ambazo tutaweza kuenda mashinani kuhamasisha hawa watu wa bodaboda kuhusu mambo ya usalama barabarani na pia ya jinsi ya vile wanaweza kujiendeleza kimaisha katika hiyo kazi wanayofanya. Otherwise mimi naunga mkono huu mswada hata kama umekuwa withdrawn, lakini pia nasisitiza zile asasi zinazohusika kama kamati yetu ya transport hapa katika bunge iweze kuleta tena huu mswada ndani ya bunge hili, tuweze kujadili, tuweze kuja na sheria mwafaka ambazo zitasaidia kuregulate hii sekta ya bodaboda. Asante Mheshimiwa Speaker.
There being no more interest, the mover can reply. The Honorable Naomi Wako, you want to speak to this? Proceed, you are recognized.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. I've been waiting. I don't know why it has not shown there. Thank you, Honorable Speaker, for allowing me to add my voice to this very important debate concerning the motorbike riders. Honorable Speaker, we have more than 2 million young people, young Kenyans in this sector and doing some serious business. And I just want to say that I support this because by doing this, our young people earn their living, and it has also helped the economy in a way. When you go to the villages, like the remotest part of this country, in Marsabit and other places, where the vehicles cannot go, the motorbike can easily, help people. And even at night when, mothers want to deliver and they cannot, get vehicles, these motorbike riders, border riders, they come and, someone can easily be taken to hospital and they get some medical attention, and they also earn their living. Honorable Speaker, in our country, there are many families who depend on border riders. And that is why today we cannot ignore this sector in our country, because this is where they earn their living, and we need to come up with policies that can take care of them, policies that can give them enough security, policies that can make sure that, we have given them enough insurance, we have given them all that they need, and they are well protected in our country. Honorable Speaker, in many families, motorbike riders or bodabodas have suffered in the past simply because they have been targeted. Like the areas that have a lot of insecurity, the border riders have been targeted and have also lost their lives. And that is why today we need to come up with ways that they can be secured, their lives can be secured, and make sure that we have laws in place that even when they ride at night, they are safe enough. Honorable Speaker, again, we need to make sure that they have been given enough training. Because of the need that is there, many of them just train themselves and then they just go into the business. We need to make sure that NTSA comes up with a proper way of training them and making sure that they give them even certificates, and also coming up with affordable insurance cover so that, they have their circles, and through their circles, they can even have affordable insurance cover. Honorable Speaker, if we work very well and work hard, border riders can be a real benefit to us. They can add a lot of value to our economy and to even our transport, because basically they are there everywhere, and they give us a lot of support when it comes to this. And mine is just to say that I support this, and let us make sure that we put policies in place to support them and to guide them, give them security, give them training, make sure that we minimize, we come up with laws that guide them on how to, ride, and also make sure that we give them enough or the gears that they need to have on, so that in case of any accident, then they are well protected. Honorable Speaker, we need to also have their data. In Kenya, I said that we have over 2 million Kenyans in this business. But even in the villages, we need to know how many border riders are there, so that the government can have their data. And in case of any accident, in case of anything, we need to just get there and help and see how best they can serve the society and also help themselves. Honorable Speaker, as a country, Kenyans are very innovative. Young Kenyans are dying because they have no employment, they are depressed. Some of them commit suicide because they cannot afford even to buy a motorbike and ride a motorbike. We need to come up with ideas that can help our young people to even have motorbikes, so that they can be able to buy them on loan and give back their money, so that, because that is the only easy way we can create employment for our people. With those few remarks, Honorable Speaker, I support and I encourage us to contribute to this and make sure that this is turned into law for us to assist our border riders. Thank you.
Honorable Imase, I'll give you 2 minutes. We have overshot time because I want the mover to reply to this motion.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker, for the opportunity. Honorable Speaker, I also arise to support the withdrawal of this bill by Honorable Boni Halwale. Honorable Speaker, the border sector is a very important sector that contributes enormously to the economy. There are many. They must be recognized and they must be supported. Honorable Speaker, when this bill was introduced in the Senate, there was a lot of uproar about the bill. And Honorable Speaker, we know that a bill or any law must be very clear, must be very precise. And in that law, there was a proposal, for example, about the weight the boda boda could carry. And in fact, I was looking at myself and I said, even as slim as I am weighing 70 kg. So when you talk of not more than 50, how would they be able to determine? Would they be traveling with a weighing machine on the boda boda? So there were certain clauses, definitely, that didn't agger very well, or that required that that bill be thought through, be researched more before it could be brought to the fore. So, Honorable Speaker, a law should not destabilize any business or disadvantage the operators. So, in this case, I think I support the withdrawal as much as we agree that there is need for regulation because of the safety concerns, because of the security. But the problem we are having is not about, it's not the boda boda. It is the weak law enforcement. It is the corruption that has culminated into impunity, accidents on our way, or on the roadsides, and all this insecurity we are seeing is because of weak law enforcement. So we cannot blame this on the boda bodas. I support the withdrawal, and I'm saying at a later time, probably this bill could be thought through very well, researched properly, and then we could have a proper regulation to help protect the boda boda, support the boda boda, and make sure that they themselves are secure from the so many crimes we witness. Boda bodas being hijacked, being killed, their pikipikis taken away. So I would support the aspect of registering, knowing who is in which stage, who is doing the business where, so that in case of crime, government is able to trace, to trail, and arrest the culprits. But this is a sector that has accommodated so many of our youths.
30 seconds.
Thank you. Honorable Speaker, this sector is not just about those youths as it was perceived in the past, those who have not gone. Today we have youths who have degrees. There are no jobs. They are creating employment for themselves. So we must support these young people, provide the security, provide the environment to allow them to thrive in whatever they are trying to do. Thank you, Honorable Speaker. I support the withdrawal.
Thank you, Honorable Imase. The Honorable Tom Joseph Francis Kajwang to reply, there being no further interest.
Mr. Speaker, I want to thank you for giving us the opportunity to debate through this motion, which just seeks a simple thing to withdraw this bill. And I want to thank all members who have contributed. The theme is very clear that the boda or motorcycle industry is a very important sector in our economy, in the transport economy. It provides employment to our young people. It also completes the last mile in terms of transport for vulnerable people who are sick and security. And so I have seen several chiefs. The only means that they can be able to reach their people is through boda. So that is providing security, including people in combat. And so that is very clear. But on the other side, we see a sector which is in chaos, shambles. It is a threat of security. It becomes now the breeding point of MAGAs or people who are anti-dissidents and so forth. And so it is important that this sector must be regulated. And we cannot run away from our mandate to legislate and to make law that will protect that industry, but will also regulate that industry in such a manner that we all benefit from it. So we have taken notes and we have commitment, in fact, an undertaking on behalf of the chair of this committee that we are not going to throw this water with the baby. We are going to take all this information, including the information that Boni Halwale generously has. In fact, we will call him to be able to benefit from that which he has, the research that he has done and so on. And so we'll incorporate all this. We will put together the stakeholders and the policy makers, the executive, to be able to come with a legislation that befits the expectation of members. So, Mr. Speaker, I beg to reply. Thank you.
For the convenience of the House, the putting of the question to this motion is deferred to a future date when it shall be scheduled for consideration by the House through the House Business Committee. Let's be upstanding, honorable members. The time being 7:07 p.m., this House stands adjourned until Wednesday, the 30th day of April 2025 at 9:30 a.m.